everyone, welcome back to the Caster Desk. I just want to do some pro player poses.
Phreak.
It's me, yeah, with no writing on the back at all. So it makes it funny. Explaining the joke does it too.
Yeah.
It is now.
It's all funnier
We're all
the longer you go.
If there was a lot of Keck W's in chat right now, I promise you. Either way, we had a banger of game one. Bwipo, that man, was given counter pick. That man got solo killed by Ignite Aatrox. And Philip, the rookie coming out, was just a huge difference maker for FlyQuest. And I want to see if this team and that player keep it up.
I just think it's so cool, right? It's his first ever LCS playoff game, and to have a performance like that. I mean, I know I'm getting way ahead of myself, but it really makes me think of like EG last split. EG coming into playoffs, there was no expectations. They had won 0 games against the top 3. It's like, yeah, you're gonna maybe win a lower bracket game, but you're gonna get clapped by all the top teams. And there's this huge kind of good feeling around JoJo and Danny, and seeing our native players really perform. And I get such a strong kind of vibe of that from Philip having this pop off game one.
I mean, it reminds me of a story I heard back in around like week 3 that like, oh, Philip isn't doing well in scrims, but up through the first 3 weeks, he was doing really well on stage. Like, oh, this is a player who steps up under pressure and overperforms it, compared to practice. We've seen the opposite so many times, right? And now he's in playoffs, and he performs even better. Like, that is so awesome to have a player who, from all evidence I have seen, steps up more and more with pressure.
Now we get the benefits of this being playoffs. This is my favorite part. The changes in draft and the best of 5.
Adaptation.
The composure of these players on stage. This is where the veteranship of Team Liquid should really come to shine. This is what they need to prove. All these players have played for so long on so many big stages, dealt with all this pressure. Best of 5 scenario. How do they bounce back? That is the biggest thing.
And I know it's something that TL is actually specifically practicing for. I was watching a Travi Gaffey interview with Bjergsen, and Bjergsen was talking about how that was one of the things they thought they failed at last split was their adaptation within playoff series. So he said they were trying to set up these circumstances in their practice of how to actually, adapt and change and react to different picks and react to different situations game to game to game. So this is an exact skill that they've been practicing, and now they need it because game one did not work at all. So I'm really excited to see what the changes will be. We know that they're going to be on the same side. There is a little bit of a delay here. I'm not sure exactly what it is. We'll give you more information when we do find out. But they've got to change it up now. The pressure is on them.
Great work there, Ben, on stage, getting both hand warmers ready for Bjergsen.
Prepping them up.
You don't even have to prep your own hand warmers.
That's important.
That's the TL difference right there.
Yeah. When you have a big enough budget, you have a hand warmer guy. Just
That's all his job.
That's all his job. Just make sure
he's just a hand warmer guy.
The right number of hand warmers, not 3.
Yeah.
Right? You got to.
Oh, and he's only Bjergsen's hand warmer guy.
Yeah, of course. They each have one, obviously, if they like to have one up there.
Don't want to share your hand warmer guy with someone else.
Come on. What if you need hand warmers right then? You have to have someone on call for it, right? So makes a lot of sense here.
Somebody get a hand warmer guy for aphromoo. I voted for him for first place for supports all-time LCS.
Yeah, I think so.
But man, this guy really deserves so much praise. He's been on so many teams, raised up so many young AD carries.
Yeah.
He's such a good in-game shot caller.
Yeah, absolutely stellar player. I agree with that one entirely.
He also, I think, performed incredibly well in the regular season, right? Like, I had him in my All-Pro voting. I think he was definitely deserving of a slot. Played really, really well individually. And doing it on teams that aren't, like, star-studded rosters, right? I think that's one of the things that's really, really impressive, is there's a lot of players who look good on a good team, and then they get traded to a lower half or middle pack team, and they don't look good anymore. Afro has consistently looked impressive throughout his entire career, no matter who he's playing with, no matter what team he's on. That level of consistency, I think, is insane.
All right, I think Team Liquid need to make some adjustments starting in draft as well. The priority on blind picking Azir, I think, should align with the rest of the regions. Get a blind pick Azir for Bjergsen so you have DPS mage coming for later, because one of the things Team Liquid have done really big early lane leads, really big early games, and yet they haven't been able to transition those. When you do have, a champion like Azir, DPS, has self-peel, mobility, is a lot easier to transition when those team fights.
Yeah, so the one adjustment is just the Vi band here, for TL. And now we'll see, will it be actually an Azir grab up like you're talking about? Are they going to put priority on that? Of course, they did first pick Sivir last game. Hans got an incredible amount of farm. Didn't feel like he was a massive impact on the game, though. It was mostly him being pressured out of these fights by the divers from FlyQuest.
Yeah, and his spell is really good, but yeah, another team fights really good. As you mentioned, the Azir priority moves over. Sivir left up. Azir is on, and Bjergsen will get his 7th game. He's got 3 on Swain, a bunch of one-ups. This is now his 7th Azir game.
I'm already happy. I got what I asked for. First present. We can end the Christmas now. Looks like Wukong, though, will be left up. And since we added the extra jungle ban to be even more focused here, FlyQuest toying with the idea of snatching this one away this time since the vibe's been taken off the table. Of course, there are plenty of other things for Santorin to play. Santorin plays a mean volley bear, Jarvan, lots of things that can set up the team for success. Kiana nerfed on this patch, little shout out there.
But they're going to say, all right, well, we still like Sivir as the premier marksman. So going to be locked in there for Johnsun.
I wonder if Core just takes a page out of Afro's book and just goes Alistar, though, right? Like, you could actually just answer, you know, with a similar bot lane setup here. Alistar does give you that engage, does have the good mechanics into the Sivir. Of course, you know, getting through that spell shield with the combo is really, really powerful. Just interested to see if it's going to be kind of like an inverse situation, but it is the Draven. So very aggressive here, more of a lane counter coming out from Hans. Will be interesting. So it is the Alistar, but they're swapping up the marksman. It's not going to be the fellow. It's not as much the scaling option. They're looking for a kill lane here to really punish Johnsun. And now we have to see what can Afro actually pair with the Sivir to try to keep himself safe in that lane.
I'm so excited to get another Hans Draven here. The legendary pairing. Feared for his Draven. Let's see it with the kill lane. And he is one of the AD carries that has successfully used it in the LCS. It was CLG, it was Team Liquid. They got over 10,000 gold leads with this champion. This is a snowball champion. Focus jungle attention towards it. Get those cash-ins. Play aggressively early on. And is quite strong into the Sivir. Now, the toucouille counter pick here in mid lane, though, does put a little bit of caution in there. If the LeBlanc gets opened up in mid, if you get a gank from your jungler, you get to push out the wave and get to roam, you can definitely put an end to an early snowballing Draven. So I think FlyQuest are going to rely on other team members to help out with that scenario.
And toucouille's LeBlanc has been one of his best champions. He has 17 KDA on it this split, you know, pretty ridiculous across 3 games, has really been a big impact in all of those 3 games that he was playing for FlyQuest.
Waiting now as the rest of the bans come through. Once again, FlyQuest going to get that red side Ornn ban. Going off the table for Team Liquid. Is it going to be Aatrox, or does Bwipo say, I've got a different option here? Solo Q win rate buys, looked it up actually. It's slightly Aatrox favored, that one-on-one. Solo Q is not pro, but we did see him smack the lane as the Aatrox. So maybe it was the round pick this time for Bwipo. Maybe you would have to say, we got a better option. Decides, no, we'd rather not let you play Aatrox. We'll look later.
A couple of respect bans, honestly, from TL. You know, banning out what Philip played, banning out what Jose did play. So trying to force them to show us something different. I do think we're going to get support on 4 this time around, and we're going to get the 5th pick for Philip. I just don't think it would really make sense when the full bot lane is already showing. You know that it's going to be Draven Alistar, but we'll see if they do surprise here. Braum would be much more of kind of this negation pick, just trying to slow them down, stay alive, look to play it for farm, keep this Sivir safe here. So it is going to be Bwipo blind picking this time around. I'm going to have to find out what Philip can do against what Bwipo is going to bring out. He does have a lot of picks here, you know, that he likes kind of dip into. GP is a really popular one for him. I think it's potentially his best champion, but he has gone, you know, beyond that with the Set, the Mord. We've seen the Swain. We've seen all kinds of different stuff, even his Graves. So Sejuani would be very, very meta as far as just a blind pick top laner, and it looks like that's what it's going to be.
Allows them to be solid in top lane. You can, of course, win the lane. She's actually pretty solid early game, but it lets you play around Draven Alistar. Of course, FlyQuest saying, well, we know your strong side is Draven Alistar. Braum will help keep bot lane alive. We'll just try to hold up and see if they can answer everything well enough. This Team Liquid need a jungler around at the composition. They've got plenty of engage.
They might want a little bit more damage on the team. With both Sejuani and Alistar, they've got a very beefy front line, so get a little bit more damage from jungle too, just to buffer out a couple of these carry threats. And Viego has really good synergy with Sejuani. You can proc the stun so quickly with this champion. So I always like that pairing.
So if Philip wants to go for a real side lane answer, you can look to things like Fiora, right? You know, it's one of those things that you can get the scaling advantage. Renekton would be very aggressive early on here. You know, much more of a brawler, kind of like we saw from Aatrox, and it looks like that's going to get locked in.
And Renekton has jumped up, actually, in champion priority, both across in LCK, LPL, as well as in Champions queue. I'm very excited to see it. The Crocodile is making a return. FlyQuest Let's see if they can keep it going, or will Team Liquid's veteran players bounce right back in this series?
And is Philip going to go ham for the lane again, right? Is it going to be like Ignite Renekton here trying to really go at him, get a kill, or the much more standard TP? He is on TP for now, so it'll be really interesting to see how he wants to play this one out, because it is, again, a matchup where you're going to get outscaled. You're going to have less value if you're not playing from ahead, so we'll have to see what they can really use that for, if he can get prio when they play for Heralds, or if he is trying to look more for the 1v1 pressure. But FlyQuest setup feels a lot more kind of mid-gamey this time around, you know, with the Renekton instead of the Aatrox and with the LeBlanc instead of the Azir.
Yeah, Sivir, a huge mid-game champion. Obviously, scaling is not bad. It certainly scales well compared to a Draven, but really does love the 2-item spike. Obviously, yeah, range is a big deal. So if you can get, you know, kept away by an Azir who can kill you in 2 seconds, guess what? You have sometimes a hard time auto-attack unless you can get onto the melees. And then, you know, you're staying out of range of the soldiers. Just depends how the fight's going to play out. FlyQuest shocked pretty much everybody with a Game 1 win. It was Team Liquid's second blue side loss of the split. They lost the season closer against 100 Thieves. They've been undefeated on blue up until Game 18 of the regular season, then immediately dropped again. Now to FlyQuest, stick on the blue side though, and we'll see if their Renekton counterpick is going to do the same kind of things that Philip's Aatrox did here in Game 1. 3-1 was a prevailing sentiment among analysts. Will it be true here? Does Team Liquid bounce back already? Or is it going to be the 0-2 angle? FlyQuest, can they keep the form we saw in Game 1? Or does TL take the 3rd seed seriously and bounce back?
They're kind of merging the chants, actually. They're harmonious. The Team Liquid and FlyQuest chants coming out here.
I just like how nice there's like letting the other side get their team name out and then, you know, taking their turn. You got to yell over it, you know, let's go. You know, you can't let them hear Liquid.
No
you know?
sabotage here. We're all here for the same reason.
We are here
Entertainment.
to watch some entertaining League of Legends, and Josedeodo has some thoughts to share on the strength of his own team.
Well, I think people view FlyQuest as like weak teams, like one of the weak teams in playoffs, which I think is incorrect. I think since we have bad days like last weeks and we were like winning a lot, and then we start losing, people was like, oh yeah, this was FlyQuest all time, you know. And this week we are back winning, so that means we only had bad weeks, you know. So I think we'll have to prove them wrong in playoffs, which I think happens all the time when you're like on not a winning team, like TL for example. So I'll be down to do it, you know, to prove them wrong.
Proving them wrong so far in Game 1. Honestly, huge specific props, I would say, to Philip and aphromoo, but still a whole team effort. I think everyone had really good moments in that game, and scarce mistakes. Alistar not really a champion until level 2, so not going to go for much here. There's no reason to headbutt a Sivir and just take Braum damage and die. This is Glacial, by the way. CoreJJ on Glacial here, much like he was last game, but Alistar has no innate tankiness, pre-6, like Leona does, and we had seen Afro had gone Aftershock, so really hoping that he doesn't need to get focused down, but it does make it that you have to really be smart about your headbutt pulverize, because you can just kill the Alistar back.
Meanwhile, Renekton pushing early, and he does have a ward on the blue buff, right in the little bit of the back.
Oh, Flash is going to for this one already. Aphromoo ignited, puts the shield up. They're hitting Hansama, though. They're hitting Hansama. He gets first blood, but they're going to trade him back. First blood cashes in, but Sivir has lane control.
Man, that was so close to Afro actually getting out there. He tagged that last Q onto Hans. I thought they were going to get the kill. At the end of the day, it's hard to say. I think this might go positive for FlyQuest if Johnsun can get the crash in here. There'll be a lot of minions missed by Hansama, and he's down both sums. Big trade there onto Bjergsen, but of course, toucouille is playing TP, not Ignite, so no actual kill pressure. And thankfully, it is a cannon wave. This is something we saw from CoreJJ in a pro-to-pro. He actually headbutts the cannon, pulls it back, and tries to create a freeze. This is something that High highlighted him doing before, because by headbutting it out of range there, you can now hold the wave and actually freeze that. So he denies a full wave by doing that. It is so clever, and it's such a little thing that I loved that High actually was able to capture that in one of his pro-to-pros.
I think the funniest part, too, was that he said he learned it in that game.
Yeah, he's like, when did you learn it? He's like, what game was this? Game 3. Yes, Game 3 is when I learned it.
He's like, W the minion, huh? No, really do it. Yeah, he's right. So the all-in, I think this is pretty nice because they realized, oh, we've got Afro, like, basically in a 1v2 here.
Yep.
And he's low.
Yeah, Aphro was stepping forward to actually use his Relic Shield there. They did get level 2 though, so he gets the shield up, lasts a long time, steps back to actually land that Q. I'm not sure if he ran straight out, if he could have gotten away or not. It would have been close, but they get the trade back, and they do get the wave to crash. And now Jose looking for the wraparound here.
Gotta be playable.
Hans has no sums.
It's gotta be playable. You've got to be able to land this one. They're gonna wait till he actually pushes the wave rest of the way, and Sivir playing correctly far away. She's like, yeah, my support's missing, you know? Zone me out, buddy. I don't know.
Here they go.
You've got to get this kill. You've got to be able to get this kill on a Hans-sama. I don't know how you're supposed to live this one. Josedeodo. Yep. He's going to headbutt Alistar into the toe. That backstep, but he's stunned and turn right. That's going to be a solo kill. You've got to be kidding me.
The number one thing you think about when you're playing against the Alistar is the headbutt, guys.
That's rough, man.
CoreJJ puts aphromoo in the dirt.
The crowd erupts as well. They're loving it here. It was looking like it could have been another FlyQuest kill down on that bottom side, and killing this no-sums Draven would have been huge, but I think they weren't sure how to approach it, right? Because if you both come from the same side, then he's just going to walk out the other, so they kind of did this awkward split.
You can see it in the hesitation, too, when they were coming around the corner.
Exactly. They realized, well, if we both go through river, he just walks back to tower. If we both go through tower, he just walks through river. So it was kind of this weird hesitation, and they end up going opposite ways. Hans just walks out, and Core ends up killing off Aphro solo. Not what they wanted here, as Santorin has just been farming.
You're going to see the top side. Yeah, it's been chill. 5 CS difference, not a big deal, and no place taken, of course, in the bottom lane as Hans-sama is able to get his Serrated Dirk online. CS pretty close. Noonquiver's a good spike for the Sivir at least. She'll have some decent lane control to that one. But CoreJJ just heroics here.
Yeah, it's just really well played, right? They realize they can't both go the same way. So Jose starts coming around this way and tries to walk through over onto CoreJJ. Hans is walking out the other way, and it's just a great headbutt in. Nice backstep there from Aphro to actually avoid the pulverize. But the problem is the trample was stacking up on Jose. So Jose would have had to actually back out so the trample couldn't get fully stacked, because even though the backstep was there, the E was primed, so CoreJJ lands the stun auto. Just really heads up stuff from him to get a kill.
Yeah, really smart, and it means that you've got Team Liquid on a solid near 1,000 gold lead, and it's, you know, 2 kills split amongst the bot lane carries, and again, every other lane looking pretty solid. toucouille's had some nice trades, but Bjergsen has ultimately farmed equally. You can't really say it's anything special. He's actually gotten his first recall TP off. That got him some magic resist and a better buy overall. So honestly, looking very good for Bjergsen in the mid lane as well, and they're getting first Drake.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just the first blood, the additional gold there, plus 95 gold from the cash-in from Draven. So you get the additional gold on the first blood, you get that extra 95 there. It's really, really nice. Again, Philip playing the resourceless champion against the mana champion, trying to tax here. He did force out, you know, his own TP was already forced. He's now going to force Bwipo's TP, but he should probably crash the wave here and look for his own base, because you don't want to get caught in lane too long if Bwipo does go back for his own after this wave.
He needs to feel safe himself, though, with his flash available. Of course, TP Ignite can certainly put some kill pressure out from Bwipo. Safe for now, though, as he got his first buy off and wants to stay with the items he has, it feels like, as he stacks up the coal.
Yeah, he's going to push one more time. You know, he wants Bwipo to TP. It's just when Bwipo does TP, that's when you generally have to base.
Oh, a quarter second late.
Because now, you know, if he TP's back, now he has a full buy, he's full health. You don't really want to be stuck in the lane here. So Philip's in a little bit of an awkward position, because now Bwipo's going to try to hold the wave. And this is exactly what happened to him last game, where, you know, Bwipo was able to hold the wave here for a bit. He does have the cannon, so cannon plus 2 range, that will be a freeze. So now Philip can't base. And that's the risk of hanging around a little bit longer, is that if you don't actually base on the shove, it can get a bit difficult, but this will eventually still push towards him, but he would lose a lot of minions, and he's playing Cull, so I think he really wants to fix it.
And the biggest thing right now, too, he's got no deep vision at all. They have no idea where Santorin is. And Viego is on a level 6 timer, so Viego level 6 would definitely be a kill if he was up here right now. Sejuani stuns with Viego stuns. That's why Philip is so nervous about this one.
You see Bwipo takes the trade anyway, of course gets his grasp off and almost gets a stun. Q auto E, extra auto, thank you, half HP. And W to disengage, looks pretty good. Yeah, Philip, I mean, ultimately decided, okay, I guess I'll stay. He got XP on 2 minions.
They could look for a dive, though.
He's got to finish his recall. He's got to get out of there. Santorin's going to use this tempo from topside, because Philip has basically been kicked out of the fight already. He's 50% HP, no purchase. So they're starting up on Rift Herald.
On the way, but Hans is here, though. Bot lane of FlyQuest not going to be here in time. Over the wall, though. Jose can try for a Q. Smite going to go over to Team Liquid, though. And they're going to get the eye, no problem. Will there be a team fight is the question now. Philip is
Johnson's
ulted.
here.
Josedeodo may have to burn his ulti. Ults go on to Bwipo. Pretty good damage. Ignite there for him. And it's 1 for 0. Philip doesn't get a single heal. Everyone's out of range of the Q. A 1 for 1. And snipes Josedeodo.
Gets him with the ultimate execution, snipes it there. The extra kill for Team Liquid. They get top laner and jungler, and they got the Rift Herald. Man. Using these little advantages as they build up, you know, chunking Philip down, stopping the back there, then they force it. Jose goes in, tries to go for a Q smite, 98 HP though, left on it, and Santorin yoinks that thing right back up, picks it up as well. Bwipo does most of Jose's damage there with the Ignite on him as well. The Ignite also critically still gives them vision, so Hans still has vision of him up until right after he flashes over, so it gives him a good angle to throw off the Draven ultimate.
And that was a 400 gold cash in there. So now up to almost 500 gold earned from his passive this early on. He's way ahead of the pace of the game now. A good 800 or so ahead of Johnsun, his counterpart, even though Johnsun has 2 kills. And now going to be looking for this dive. The TP's coming in. They will just back it up. But a nice threat in there gets the TP out of toucouille, which means Bjergsen should have push mid here.
Pretty good right now. Yeah, Wukong going to hold the wave, so Josedeodo going to get his own bit of XP and gold as Philip wants to slink in. Spots Hansama, same goes to him, 1v3, and he knows he's got teammates. Gonna have to flash away from the pulverize, does so. Philip stays alive, flash with support.
Meanwhile, they still have Rift Herald, so only 3 turret plates left on this tower. You could actually just kill it.
Yeah, and they're staying for it.
Oh, they're gonna let him base, and then they're gonna try to set this up on toucouille. He didn't actually know that Santorin was there, so Santorin just hides.
Night, double
toucouille
dash.
has to leave. He will be fine, but the tower is gone.
Yeah, easy summon at this point. They're going to get it. Maybe they can... Yeah, okay, they're going to go for Herald. This will always, now at this point, kill turret. Will one-shot it from this low of HP, or just about anyway, as they can try to run away. If Core runs far enough, he won't get a plate. If you ever touch the turret, does still get a share. And ultimately, first turret does go down. 4-2 and a 4,000 gold lead.
Yeah, the gold is just massive now.
Yeah, one of these things that we've seen all split long from Team Liquid. The best team, early game, giant lead, snowballing out of lane phase. And this one, 3.6 thousand gold at 11 minutes is massive, massive from the veterans. Again, this is what we highlight coming into this best of 5 series. The veterans' ability to back up on stage here as this top lane fight kind of...
Actually gets to die. Just gets... Doesn't even need Ignite. Bwipo holds the summoner and just kills him through his ult.
The grass proc on the stun proc as well from Bwipo. Everything going Team Liquid's way. They waste no time in trying to put a stop to this momentum FlyQuest we're building in the series.
I mean, I think Philip saw that Bwipo actually used his cooldowns there, popped his ult to go forward, and then maybe got some comms that they could be coming for you, right? Because they had no vision in that bottom side, and now Jose is in trouble, no flash.
A bit of damage across, ulti not available, doesn't want to burn it, takes him down. Hansama again cashes in, 3 kills on a Draven. Guess what? Second Drake.
This is the Team Liquid people expected, and why game number 1 was an upset to those expectations. 5,000 gold lead, 12 minutes into the game. Dragon stacking as well. That's both dragons at just over 12 minutes. They will be in for a very early soul here for Team Liquid. And with Draven, you just keep snowballing with this champion.
Yeah.
That's why it is so popular in Champions Queue, in solo queue, being able to snowball ahead very, very effectively.
And TL, you know, you talked about it, they have the best early game in the league. You know, on average, they were ahead about 1,800 gold at 15. Second best in the league was 800 at 15. So this is a team that dominates early, but this is obviously far beyond that. You know, 5,000 gold here at 12.5 with the Drakes in pocket. It's going to be a really long road for FlyQuest to have any chance of coming back in this one.
Exactly, and this really highlights that composure in best of 5s. Not overreacting.
Dash interrupted. He started the dash. That stun kills him.
Killer Sejuani!
toucouille is able to jump away a bit farther. Bwipo ulti's up in about 5 seconds. He can go for the long range snipe. Says, I'm not going to keep up with him. Gets him out just barely.
Bwipo making Sejuani look more fearsome than Olaf in these side lane 1v1s.
Game 2 revenge of the Bwipo is getting his revenge here on Philip, on FlyQuest. You know, didn't have the game 1 he wanted. You know, Philip getting the best of him. This time around, it is Bwipo with the blind pick, Philip with the answer. But again, it's the person blind picking that's actually getting the better end of the matchup. And Hans now getting paid even more more and more gold into his pockets. 2,200 ahead now of Johnsun, who's the richest person on FlyQuest, by the way. You know, he's practically double the gold of Philip. Like, this is getting ridiculous when this tower falls.
And he goes up. Here we go. 77. No, 70. Yep. There we go. Looks pretty good. Money, including into the pockets. So it's 2,600 gold lead in his lane matchup. And that's only 1/3 of the gold lead in this game. It is winning everywhere right now.
Yeah, you know it's a giant stomp when at 14 minutes the objective bounties turn on, because that's the earliest that they come on. And you just get
total gold there.
It's funny, but that is commonplace now because Draven so often can, when used effectively, gets the snowball leads and look like that. With the gold stacking passive, it even blows those numbers even up more.
Afro dying, TP's coming around for a little bit more. Here we go. Good luck for Johnsun. Gonna put some damage to CoreJJ. Philip has shown up as well, but he's in a 1v2 on the one side. That TP comes in to kill himself. Johnsun gets another stun to his face. There's a slow from Sejuani. The E-stun there gonna get him as well. A double kill goes through to Bjergsen, and there is nothing FlyQuest can do.
Liquid cruising in this one. Jose looking for the wraparound here, but I don't think he wins this 1v1. All right, Afro's here too, so they got to look for some sort of a play. They know they need picks. They got to get shutdowns to have any hope of coming back.
Gonna jump right in, go for the ulti. Of course, the Azir turret will help. It's gonna be a bit of a 2v2 for a minute there. Second sun's gonna come across, and he's gonna let himself drop down. Shut down comes to the Josedeodo. A little bit of gold, but guess what? Hansama finds his 3rd turret kill of the game. As that lead's gonna grow even farther, and guess what? Second Herald gonna be formality.
Yeah, there's so much money on Summoner's Rift with the extra turret standing there, with the Rift Trail, that Team Liquid will actually get more out of this even than FlyQuest did picking up that kill. But here's another look at the earlier pickoff, where they were able to start with the support, then kill the teleporting in top laner, then kill the AD carry as well. This game is gone.
Yeah, making it look too easy there. Afro trying to get some vision for Johnsun, but getting punished as TL are just so far ahead. They can take any fight anywhere at any time at this point. So it's gonna have to be heroics from FlyQuest to have any chance. But really, there's not a lot of playmaking on their team, right? Like, you need some sort of a flank, I guess, from the Wukong and the Renekton, but I just can't see it happening.
Every fight, everywhere, all at once.
Yep.
That's what Team Liquid get to pull off.
Pretty much.
Now.
1 minute to go until the 3rd Drake of the game. More than halfway towards Hextech Soul at this point in time. Will you see FlyQuest even attempt to play for it? Or is it going to be cross-map? Top lane Adder is alive with a bounty on it.
These are those games that kind of feel like work just to be able to finish it out. You're like, all right,
I already won.
I was thinking from the other side.
See, I feel like, yeah, I'm on Azael's side here. I'm one of those guys, we just win games so much. It's like, oh, jeez. But I will say it feels really good just be like on 2 items. You're like, I'm an item ahead. I can take any fight I want. I see someone in the jungle. I just take the fight.
See, to me, that's not work, though. If you're on the winning team, this is fun.
Yeah.
If you want to extend this period, this is the fun.
Exactly.
FlyQuest, though, trying to craft a way to get back into this one. It is very difficult, but trying to open up some more picks for themselves. Toucouille trying to split the map, split push here against Sejuani, one of the champions that the Sej has more difficulty all inning. Won't get just straight up a 1v1 because very difficult stuff there for the Crocodile, only on the blade of the King.
I mean, he's so squishy. With Bjergsen and Hans both super fed, anytime you go in, you're going to die so fast. I mean, it's another 1,800 gold in pocket here for Hans. He's soon going to have enough for a full rapid fire. It does go back, buys the components. Bjergsen going to be close to his Shadow Flame. No, he even has it right now. So they're just so far ahead here. TL cruising here in the second game, looking really, really good. And this one does feel like a bit of a formality. It's about closing it out cleanly. Just destroying the confidence of your opponents.
Yeah, exactly.
Gets the ulti, gets the flash stun, but not gonna find someone in range. Only the slow from the ulti. Cannot get a range for E, and it should time out pretty soon. Gets away for a minute. Toucouille in the same boat right now. Scoop backwards by some time. Rumble comes across, but it's still gonna be Josedeodo dropping. Assist on the 3, a kill and a CoreJJ. His second of the game, I do believe. As we go to 8,500 advantage. 3rd Drake already taken, but now top lane tier 2 under fire to grow this lead over to 9,000. Bot lane under fire will be a bounty claimed, so a pretty equal trade of gold as Shots come in towards Bwipo. They almost find the root, but not able to queue back to safety. Finally, a bounty is claimed. It's something towards FlyQuest, but so much more to do.
It's going to be a long road if they were to do it, but TL looking really, really good. And do have a really strong bear take. Oh, it's double TP coming top here. Philip's looking for a bit of a flank, but realizes the response is there.
Bwipo's around, can they bodyguard well enough? Bjergsen's waiting around as well. No ult, he can't do a lot to push people away. toucouille taking a bunch of damage off from the soldiers. Well played, Bjergsen maximizing his damage, and Philip.
I guess there's no DPS behind him. Bwipo chases him off. Operation save Hans Sama. Easy for Team Liquid to pull off. Oh. Good.
Yeah, that was great by Hans Sama. toucouille wasn't even looking. No.
I think he thought it was going to return on the same path.
Philip doesn't even tell him or anything. Like,
I'm not sure. I would actually love to see the pro view from toucouille to see if he didn't look,
the comms, please,
or B just thought it was coming in and out the same path. I didn't realize because Hans obviously threw it and then it's just running down the river, so the return path is different and it gets him on the bounce back.
Yeah, you always gotta expect the Draven player is gonna try and move it.
Yeah,
I didn't look at minimap and be like, oh, I gotta move. Like that's gonna hit me probably, and then so yeah.
Great stuff from Hans
Great
there,
stuff by Hans.
to
Great stuff by
redirect the pullback. Maybe a lazy recall.
He's got 3 items now and a stopwatch. This is a toughie for sure. All right, let's see it one more time. So did he actually see it at all?
Yep,
he did.
He saw it. Yeah, I think he just thought it was going out the other way.
It's like watches it go back. It's like, Draven's down there. He walked.
Honestly,
Draven Noir.
Yeah.
Taking chat. Got his ulti.
Oof. Doesn't really matter. I mean, this game is so very Team Liquid favored, and they have come out swinging on this one. Philip gonna have a hard time. His dash interrupted, flashed away from the pulverize. Well done. Couldn't go much other. Could have maybe up back a bit farther again. I know. Whirling Death claims another victim, aptly named. FlyQuest. Run themselves down 10,000 gold.
The exact same spot. At this point, you start to rack up deaths, and you're like, whatever, man, it's over.
Core's even going for the Zhonya's build here in second. Just looking to have more playmaking. They want to shut this one out. There's a stopwatch on Phreak. There's a stopwatch on Hans Sama.
Okay.
Protecting those super fed carries.
Does this, like, how heavy is the demoralization factor here for FlyQuest? Because again, they do have very young players mixed in with their veterans on this team, and that's one of the big things that you want to look at. Being able to bounce back after this, not getting stuck here in just how massive this beatdown was.
I think that's where you really need that one teammate who's just going to be joking around, keeping the attitude good. Game went bad early, but who cares?
Well, Han's going to fill up his gold coffers yet again.
And this is just one that you have to just be able to shake off. You have to say, it went bad early. The rest of the game doesn't matter. And you start talking about the next game, start joking around, try to keep the attitude light. Because I agree, with those young players, if the attitude gets bad, it can be a lot of pressure. And that is kind of one of the big advantages that TL has, is the massive amount of experience.
Yeah.
FlyQuest will also get side selection, and we're presuming that they'll go blue. Almost everyone wants to play blue side. So, stealing away one on red at least does mean that they can just have to win their games with side selection for the rest of the series to presumably win if they were to.
All I can think of is Perks playing playoffs in the LCK last night and now in the LCS. His Renekton lives on in various parts around the world. It's good to see. That joke came from Reddit, but I wanted to, reference it. That wasn't a stolen joke. We're just advancing. On to Hextech Soul now. Again, this is the kind of point where it's like, all right, we're just gonna wait to this game end. You can't fight for Drake. It gets worse and worse for you. You still always want to try for the cross maps. You see toucouille TPing top lane is smart. Wants to get a bounty. I would like to see more people going, but he can't get the turret remotely low as Bjergsen TPs in to control it.
I like from Team Liquid side too. Pick up everything on the map. From the other point of view, the point of view of the winning team, you want to really hammer home to your opponents. Yeah. We stomped on you this game. Guess what? There's nothing you can do. Watch us as we take everything off the map, and you cannot do anything about it.
And I mean, for TL, you know, I'm kind of looking bigger picture here now at the series. Is toucouille potentially going to get chased down here?
Slow is in already. Good luck with the rest of this one. Jukes back, says, yeah, I'm cut off otherwise, but Santorin's going to be around. He's going to show up for the extra slow, and they're going to hand another one. Hans Sama is dominating on his Draven.
Now TL can go to Baron, but I mean, we saw game 1, they went much more kind of a riskier early game snowbally style comp. Game 2, you know, they do have that mixed in with Hans, but you know, it's stable solo laners for TL, and they are looking so dominant. FlyQuest, you gotta go for a miracle steal here, but they're turning on to Jose.
Turret bounty claim, they're gonna find Jose, gonna push him away, still gets taken down. Beautiful whirling death. Gonna be a Baron claimed as well. Team Liquid 15-3. A 13,000 gold lead at least. FlyQuest get turret bounties occasionally, but the lead keeps growing.
The Hans Sama Draven just don't miss. Another one, even after the flash there.
What's his passive at now, man? He is getting paid this 1,800 gold just from the passive alone.
Holy. There's a reason
Yeah.
everyone pops off when Hans picks the champion. Glad to see it here too on Team Liquid, effectively snowballing.
And you have to wonder, like, does it get a respect ban now, you know, next game, right? Because we saw that the Vi got taken away, the Aatrox got taken away. Those obviously were critical for FlyQuest in game number 1.
Yeah.
Now Hans absolutely obliterating them on this. You know, if FlyQuest go towards blue side, you can kind of expect that they might look for the Azir. Philip now
Pulverize,
trouble.
get the next stun. Philip able to E over the wall, but a flash, or the ult follow rather. They're gonna get the stun on Sejuani. They should find this kill. Locket might not be enough. Hans Sama, again, the man just keeps being in the tooltips. This man's gonna be another kill. Legendary, 8 in a row now for him.
Azir's got an extra minion wave to move up on the bottom side too. With Baron buff and Hexol, you gotta think Team Liquid are coming to demolish the base.
Directly so. Bwipo showing up at the top side. There's the mid lane turret going down. Rune aptly named as 2 more inhibitors now to fall as well, and maybe this push will end it. Still 15 seconds on Renekton. They've got a wave. They've got a Baron buff. They're gonna go for top side. The wave's already moving up. Bwipo takes for a bit. Probably has to drop aggro at a certain point.
Yeah.
Does so.
Again, check all the boxes. Literally take everything all off the map here from Team Liquid.
Big damage there. FlyQuest still zone net. They got Renekton, but it doesn't matter. TP flank 15k. Can they find the way in? Turret's gonna drop. Health bar is a little bit injured, but the same is true for
He doesn't even
FlyQuest.
have ulti though. Like Philip's flank is so not threatening.
Yep. And they just keep getting poked as well. Every Azir shot comes in, bam, Hextech Soul. People down to half HP with this one, and all triple inhibitors are done. Still a minute left in the Baron buff.
Yeah, they can just stand here until the game ends. With all the minions Baron up.
Nice stop by Bwipo, trying for the backline, not gonna happen. They're tanky enough already. Josedeodo's down. Philip will try to find his way in, but not before his front line already dies. Just out goes aphromoo. Renekton just gets deleted. A pair of shoes in the inventories now for Team Liquid. They're gonna knock extra couple of turrets down. The Red Bull Baron power play gonna include the Nexus itself. Some fancy crystals to go with the gold. As the gaudy jewelry comes in, even more for Team Liquid. A quick stopwatch, that one of use. Finally, Hans Sama gets another one as the Nexus falls and Team Liquid absolutely slaughter FlyQuest in game 2.
26-minute win, 20-3, 18,000 gold lead. Almost 1,000 gold for every minute we played. On Sama 10, 1 and 4 on the Draven. This one got out of control really, really fast. And now FlyQuest is going to have to wipe it from their minds, try to look for a bounce back here, talk about the adjustments that they want for game number 3, because this is the TL that people are really expecting, looking for them to dominate. They absolutely did it in game number 2, but at least FlyQuest do have side selection, can try to mix things up.
And this is the antidote for the Zeri Sivir constant trading. Everybody going with these bottom lanes of, oh, we're going to do massive scaling. Those champions not only got nerfs, so got weaker, but also these lane priority, lane bully champions. It's not just the Draven. Even Samir is starting to get some play. Kalista is still there. There are lots of lane dominant options you can go for to really shake that up. I'm glad in the best of 5s, these are when they really bring them out.
It's fun to see. Also, I just got to say, I've just been disappointed with the top lane counter picks. Each top lane counter pick's been solo killed by the champ they tried to counter. I need better pools from these guys because blinding is getting you a slap in the top lane, basically. So, you know, I want to see that improve a little bit, but the other adaptations, yeah, have been good. The Draven, guess what? Not a LeBlanc Sivir anymore. Unless you really think, oh, it was a fluke, the headbutt, you know, whatever, but always looked great from Hans Sama there. So, gonna head over to the State from Analyst Desk. See you there.
Oh, no. Thank you very much, gents, and welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. The series is all evened up at 1-1, and Emily, in large part due to the performance of the man who sits just behind me on the Draven pick. Whoa. What the heck, Hans popped off.
It's always really cool because I remember watching Hans Draven all the way back on Misfits, and people have been really super critical of TL's kind of bot lane picks and their performance when they have been able to get ahead, maybe not being able to snowball it. This was such a snowballing game. It was kind of over immediately post like Rift Herald fight. Look at all of that blue.
It's a lot of blue.
It's actually lower damage than I would expect from Hans. He's at 18K with Bwipo being at 15K. Bwipo had a few Sej solo kills that are going to count for like 2,500 at a time because he did a full health bar of damage. But actually, even though Hans picked up all the kills and was a huge carry, it looks like a big team effort by TL.
I was going to say a way healthier team distribution of damage there. Clearly everybody doing work, but I think it also very much paints the picture, Raz, of a 26-30-minute win. This is the Team Liquid that we kind of expected to come out in game one, build early leads, and really drive them home.
That was the fear a lot of teams when talking about Team Liquid was kind of talking about, was, hey, they have one of the best, if not the best, early games in the league, period. And the only question is whether they can convert it in the mid game, and they did that clearly.
They absolutely did. And when people are talking about those 3-1s and 3-0 score lines in favor of TL, this is the version of the team that they were predicting would show up on the day. And Raz, when we talk about predicting, I think it's time we give you some credit where credit is due. We talked about the adjustments for draft, and you straight up called it out. You said Azir first pick.
Oh, thank you.
It looks like, what have you just been awarded with?
What's it say?
It's an award, draft trophy. I will say,
well done, Raz.
I will say the Azir one is very easy to call out. They've done it all split.
But can you hold it still for the camera? Like,
they can see it. Look.
Well, they can see it less when you're waving it around like a maniac.
I'm rubbing it.
Let's push it up against the microphone.
Yeah, exactly. We can all hear it.
Yeah, I love it. Popping was in my ears.
I think there's a couple things. Number one, love that you called out the Azir first pick, and they did go for it. The other thing I'll note, Jat, is in fact that it was a counter pick for Hans Sama. Again, being able to bring out that kind of signature Draven, but after seeing his opponent's pick when he held the lowest counter pick rate of all ADCs coming into the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Sivir's going to be a priority pick this series if the bans don't change for Team Liquid. When they ban 2 Enchanters, Sivir becomes the #1 power AD carry. And some of this does start from the early game. It's not just this solo kill that they were barely able to get before trading it back. It's what CoreJJ did afterwards, where he punted the cannon minion to freeze the wave, allowed them to be in good wave positions, and this was a disaster. The wave got too big for them to pull off what was, they were trying to cheese gank this because they think if they can cheese gank, get a double kill here, then Sivir can tank over the game. It backfires in the most hilarious fashion, loses them all this time, and they were behind in tempo for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and then following that, obviously, FlyQuest does decide to contest this and kind of go for a steal. And this to me is where the game really breaks open for TL, right? Like after this is where I was like, okay, the entire game is going to be TL here.
Yeah, largest gold difference at 15, all split if you compared this to the regular season. So it really got out of hand.
And it's that kind of a gold lead for the team that we had come into the day saying they already averaged close to 2K up at 15 minutes, and they more than eclipsed that here, Raz.
Yes, and I think it, much like what they're doing right now, goes back to the draft, going into the next game. I thought the change up to Azir was great, but as the draft was going on for FlyQuest, I would love to see that on the screen once more. It just got worse and worse for the anti-Azir fans because it made it easier for Azir to play the game. Now, of course, when you're playing, they picked up the Sivir, recognizing going back to the fact that they didn't want to play Zeri with no enchanters on board. So, like, once again, the greatest enemy that Sivir has is the range of Azir. The Renekton, the Braum, all of it really worked against what FlyQuest wanted to do. So I think either they ban it and take it off the table entirely, or change up how they end up drafting and give themselves more range. Zoe has actually been one of the biggest champions for toucouille throughout the split. Perhaps that could be the change. Though LeBlanc was good here too.
Yeah, one other small pivot I liked from Team Liquid was simply banning out the A-track.
Yeah.
Just putting Philip on something that he's a little bit less comfortable on this big stage when the pressure is being applied. But from here, we move our attention towards game number 3. FlyQuest now being the loser of the previous match gets side selection for the first time in the series. And so they will elect to swap sides and go over to blue. Emily, where's your head at on this?
So that's super interesting because now I'm wondering if Fly are going to stay with the Yuumi Lulu bans, right? Because as we talked about, that's what's keeping Zeri off the table thus far for Fly, and we know they play it. So the blue side first 3 bans is going to be the most interesting to me because I don't think FlyQuest are going to stick necessarily
with those enchanters,
with what TL have been.
Raz, you have the draft trophy. What's happening?
Yeah,
They will
on?
not ban enchanters. This split, they've done a really good job playing into Zeri and Lulu or Zeri and Yuumi. They've gone towards Twitch or just added more range. I think that they've been so confident going into Zeri, they will not ban enchanters. I feel like they've done a good job of that.
Yeah.
So if they're not banning enchanters, or sorry, you follow
I mean,
up. Go ahead.
TL's, I think, going to continue to ban enchanters. I think if they get into an enchanter meta, CoreJJ versus aphromoo, they lose their advantage. I think CoreJJ is so active on the map and so important in engaging team fights. And only if they then prove to carry a game with a power pick like a Kalista that might get through, a Trundle that might get through, or another first pick Azir, that's the only thing that's going to force Team Liquid to change. But I think they actually have to lose to that first.
Well, because that was going to ultimately be my final question to you, Draft King, is
stop.
right? Look, we're all about extremes here, so I just want to set you up for an incredible amount of success or a very, very big
the whole
failure.
draft for Mr. Flasm.
Well, but so my question becomes, right, in this conversation of like, if FlyQuest is electing to go over to blue though, and we think that they won't follow the same ban strategy of Team Liquid, what does blue side afford them that red didn't? Like, where does the advantage come for FlyQuest on blue side? Why do they want it?
They can either first pick the Azir, and that's their advantage. I think that's been ruining them in the last game. Or if Team Liquid ban it, because they obviously value it, then even though I said they will not be too unhappy about a Zeri pick, maybe they just first pick it themselves because they think it's really strong themselves. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. From that point forward, I think they're really flexible around what Josedeodo wants to pick. So they might drop him to 4-5.
Fair enough, fair enough. 1-1 stands the series score as Team Liquid strike back in dominant fashion. Tomorrow night, though, the Age of Dragons begins again with the premiere of House of the Dragon. Check it out.
Rhaenyra Targaryen, heir to the Iron Throne.
I will not be a tyrant and rule through terror.
You see her for what she is. We are a family! This fighting must cease!
We're spinning back into Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. With 100 Thieves down 2-7 and falling behind to Team Liquid's pressure, Closer single-handedly turned the tide of this team fight when he unleashed Cyclone on Team Liquid.
Well, but Abadaga's gonna be safe for now. Wukong gets the knockup, a shove back, and the shutdown comes in. The 1-2 punch from mid-jungle. And Bwipo cannot quite get it done. He'll drop as well. Closer stays alive. And Team Liquid could not with a gigantic gold leap on a team fight victory.
Lion! Ah, yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a Red Bull. Red Bull? Still, you'll never be faster than a lion. I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just faster than you. Red Bull gives you wings.
What's you playing?
A very serious game, but these in-game purchases are adding up.
Oh, State Farm has rates to fit your budget?
Mega Sparkle!
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
This is the sort of pride that gets you in those big moments, allows you to take down giants.